Well, Tuesday was an election day in the good old United States of America. Voters in the Eastern Sierra went to the polls in the midterm election to vote for state and local offices, as well as several propositions. Now, before we get to the results, this right here is the polling place in Bishop. Obviously, we all know that is the Eastern Sierra Tri-County Fairgrounds. That's on Sierra Street. And we say Sierra Street because the national Google election site apparently directed many voters not to the fairgrounds, but to a residence on Sierra Drive in Wilkerson. Now we're hoping everybody that wanted to vote was able to vote. All right, all of the results that follow, again, are still called what is known as semi-official. Now, the biggest local election was for the Bishop City Council, where 5 candidates were vying for 2 seats. 2 challengers were able to oust 2 incumbents in this race. The new Bishop City Council members are Karen Schwartz and Joe Pexy. Schwartz garnered 295 votes, while Pexy had 277. Now, current Bishop City Council member and Mayor Jim Ellis behind them at 247. Current Councilman Keith Glidewell had 218 votes, and challenger Howard Wu had 116 votes. Karen Schwartz is the owner of Sage to Summit in Bishop, while Pexy is a former police chief of the Bishop Police Department. Now, Schwartz and Pexy will be joining Pat Gardner, Laura Smith, and Dave Stottlemyre on the Bishop City Council. For the Bishop Unified School District Governing Board, there were 3 4-year terms available, including the top vote getters, including results from Mono County and Inyo County combined. Mono County, Squaw Meadows children attend Bishop schools. And again, the top vote getters were Kathy Zach, Taylor Ludwig, and Josh Nicholson. Those 3 beating out Suzanne Rizzo and Tom Stevenson. Kathy Zach received 1,806 votes. Taylor Ludwig, 1,584. Josh Nicholson, 1,121. That's just 10 above Suzanne Rizzo at 1,111, and Tom Stevenson had 1,087. Now, for the Round Valley Joint Elementary School District Governing Board, again, 2 4-year terms were available, and Inyo and Mono votes combined. The Round Valley board seats were won by Jeff Perry with 227 votes and Eduardo Sandoval with 123. Sean Ray had 79 votes. For the June Lake Public Utility District, now 2 open seats were won by Larry Hughes with 140 votes and Jerry Allendorf with 127 votes. Ian Fettis had 69 votes. For the Paradise Fire Protection District, Measure F, increased tax on real property for fire protection services, yes passed, 75 votes, no 18. Again, these are semi-official results right now. You can see the Inyo and Mono County websites for complete voting tallies. Well, Deb Murphy filed a story for Sierra Wave Media. Deb Murphy writes that Tuesday evening's meeting of the Bishop Creek Water Association was a mix of good and bad news. Now, due to the finances and association struggling to make improvements in its water delivery system and facing the prospect of raising association dues, there will be no Christmas party this year. Now, that was the bad news delivered by Board President Steve Stevens, but balanced by the fact that the 900+ residents may have at least wet ditches for Christmas. Now, the issue of water in ditches went beyond aesthetics this time last year. In addition to erratic stock water delivery and dead fish, shallow domestic wells went dry in December, and when the water came back in the spring, residents on the west side of the developments along South Barlow had flooded basements and crawl spaces. Now, over the last 9 months, the Bishop Creek Water Association has been working with Southern California Edison and the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power to guarantee enough water stored at Lake Sabrina to supplement the natural flow from Bishop Creek drainage through the winter. Now, board member Rock Baker is figuring out how to equitably distribute the water. It's like pinning jello to the wall, Rock Baker said, referring to the fluctuation in flows out of Edison's Plant 6. Baker's task is to come up with a rotation system moving water from McLaren to the homes west of South Barlow and those east of South Barlow according to a defined schedule. But the water and weather haven't cooperated. Every time we get a big fluctuation, Baker said, we have to reset the schedule. The flows have been consistent for a week now, so we can develop a rotation schedule. Now, the bigger picture, how to avoid CFS Russian roulette on an annual basis, would be to alter the Chandler decree, something Inyo County and Greg James are looking into. While altering the decree would solve West Bishop problems, those solutions could create bigger problems for LADWP lessees and the Bishop Paiute tribe, both entities receiving water allocations from Bishop Creek Drainage. You can see more on this story from Deb Murphy on our website, sierrawave.net. Well, Bennett Kessler filed this story. After they talked for an hour, it still wasn't exactly clear why Inyo County Supervisors Linda Arcularius and Matt Kingsley wanted to get more seats for Inyo County on the Great Basin Unified Air Pollution Control Board, and why now. The agenda said the two board members were requesting the Air Pollution Control Board to recommend and the district members' agencies to concur in modifying the agreement between Inyo-Mono and Alpine counties, forming the Air Board to provide the County of Inyo with representation on the Air Pollution Control Board, quote, proportional to Inyo County's relative population and responsibility for district liabilities, end quote. Now, as for liabilities, Deputy APC Director Dwayne Ono told the Inyo Board that Inyo County pays, quote, zero towards lawsuits and damages, end quote. Ono said the Inyo County Council is reimbursed for expenses. He said the City of Los Angeles is obligated to pay legal expenses. But Supervisor Linda Arcularius said if APCD did lose a lawsuit, damages could fall back on Inyo County through a joint powers agreement. Inyo County Council will look into that, which still doesn't explain how more seats on the APCD board would change anything. Arcularius and Kingsley did bring up population and change over time, but Inyo County Supervisor Rick Pucci told the two officials that the population is not the only factor when it comes to the makeup of the Air Board. Arcularius said things have changed over time with the Owens Lake cleanup nearly done and the need to conserve on water and create public access to wildlife. Those ideas lead to LADWP's plans to cut back water use at the lake and Arcularius's plans to use more water for ranchers. Supervisor Kingsley repeated that he wants to, quote, serve his constituents, end quote. He did not say exactly how. More seats on the APCD board could give Inyo more power over matters, although Arcularius said, quote, power is not even a word I know how to articulate, end quote. Supervisor Jeff Griffiths said he would defer to the two board members to explore any solutions and initiate discussions with the City of Bishop regarding the opportunity for a member of the City of Bishop to join the APCD board. And this issue will come up at the Great Basin Board meeting that's set for this Friday, 10:30 a.m., Suite Z in Mammoth Lakes. You can see more on this story on our website, sierrawave.net. We'll be back with more news.